B.Invested headquarters on a very special assignment. So today, if you've been investing in property, you're very synonymous with the name Nathan Birch. He's an entrepreneur, a business owner, and property investor. He's built a portfolio of over 250 properties of his own. He has multiple businesses, and he's the fastest growing tourism operator in Australia since building the Birch Hotel Group. Today, I want to ask him some questions. And whilst we will touch on investing, I want to get up close and personal. I really want you to meet the man behind the legend. So let's go find him, yeah? Come on.
Calling now. Please wait a moment.
How are we?
Hey, have you got some time to answer some questions for your viewers?
I sure do. Come on through.
Nathan, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
First thing I do when I wake up, I go and reach for my phone. And I've been told that when I wake up, I'm like, where's my phone? Because I've got a little anxiety to get to my phone. I want to check, make sure everyone's okay, make sure there's not 50 calls about some emergency, go check all my emails, go check all my mail, go and see what's happening in the world, and get ready as I unwind to get myself into my day. So I just slowly, gradually get into my day. So yeah, nothing too exciting.
What motivates you to get out of bed?
What motivates me to get out of bed? Just thinking about what I want out of life. Like, I guess I've been able to build a life which is, I can live life on my terms. I never know what my day is going to involve. I think I live a boring life because I'm too busy doing heaps of cool stuff. But lots of people think I've got a very adventurous life. So I just get excited by the thrill of knowing I can do what I want and then just working towards the goals of who I want to be the next version of myself. So, yeah.
What does a typical day look like for you?
Typical day, probably start off with, I should probably add the gym in there, but I don't go to the gym and there's something I need to add into my day. But my day would involve getting my devices, having a look, planning my day. After about 2 hours, I'll be ready to get up to the bottom, and I'll get up, go get ready, either hop on the phone, hop on the emails, spend time with my family, hop in my car, go for a drive, go for a big walk, just depending what I feel like on the day. That's what I go and do. So, yeah.
You a morning person or a night person?
Definitely a night person. I can stay up until this morning. I went to bed at 4:30 in the morning. So.
Name something very few people know about you.
Name something very few people know about me. I've become successful, or I'm so driven by success or money or assets or whatever the case may be. I'm a pretty basic guy. I spend time in nature, whether it be my house in the bush or whether it be, or when I say my house in the bush, it's like on a farm. A lot of people think Birch should be having boats with chicks and stuff all over it. It's partying and all that sort of stuff. It all sounds fun, but I'm just a very simple, humble, wholesome sort of person. Live a basic existence.
Tell me about 3 things that you're thankful for.
Firstly, my health, which is very important. Secondly, my mind, being able to control my mind, control my emotion, have the knowledge that I have to be able to do what I've done in my life and continue to do what I do in my life when I get up. And I guess third is the people that are around me, my family, my friends, my colleagues, and all the things that I do, and the people that make my life what it is, because I see that a lot of people have very miserable lives, lack on having support network around their friends and family, and I guess I'm very blessed by that. So, yeah.
Name the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself over the years.
The biggest thing I've learned about myself over the years, there's lots of things. I wasn't born who I am right now. I've had to recreate myself multiple times to become the best person of myself. So a lot of people just accepting of the world that they've got surrounded by themselves, and I've always had to keep growing, push myself to new levels to be able to get to the better version of myself. So, yeah.
Ice cream or chocolate?
Ice cream.
What flavour?
Just vanilla. I actually go to the shop sometimes and get the ice cream, and they say, I want the vanilla one, and they're like, you're pretty boring, like, do you want a chocolate or something? And it's like, no, I just want the vanilla one. But besides that, I like caramel and strawberry a little bit, so yeah, but vanilla, I'd say. Yeah.
Nice. How do you like to relax?
How do I like to relax? Spending time with family, spending time in nature, whether that be walking on the beach or whether it be in the bush or on the farm. just chilling out. I've got a good lifestyle. Like I do carry a lot of stress. A lot of people say, "Hey Nathan, how do you carry so much stress?" But I find it fun, right? And when you don't have to do things out of pressure, and you've got options and the choices to do things, that's when real fun comes. So I don't really actually have a downtime and an uptime. I'm just constantly working on the things to get to the person I want to be in the future. So I'm always thinking, cool, this is great. How can I refine? How can I be better? And how can I keep working towards that? And that could be just meditating out in the bush, being in the along the beach. It could be hanging out with family. It could be hanging out with friends. Yeah.
What would you most like to teach people?
What would I like to teach people the most? I think I share with the community a lot about what I've done and the things that I have and the thoughts. And I guess that I'm grateful for the fact that I know I don't make everyone happy with some of the things I say. I can be controversial with my beliefs and my views, but I try to be respectful by that. I don't try to push people that are ideas and ideologies onto people. I think what I'd like to teach and see is people to become the best version of themselves. And we live in a world where everything is so controlled and manufactured and fake. And I think for people to be the authentic version of themselves, I think I'm living my best life and the life that I want to choose to live. And I think a lot of people are pressured by the fabric of society. And I think if I can teach people to be committed to their goals, have a clarity of where they want to be and who they want to be, and then be able to give them the courage and confidence to take those steps, that would make me feel very happy. And I've got a lot of gratitude over the years from the people that have come up to me in the streets and wherever. Because of you, I've made certain health choices with my life, or things that I didn't do because I wouldn't have thought it. Thanks for having a set of balls to speak up and say things as they are. So I like the fact that I can be authentically and unapologetic, the best version of myself, and being able to share views and talk about the hard topics without having to shy away from difficult subjects. So.
Who do you admire the most?
Who do I admire the most? I think my family. I've come from a blue collar family, and I want to set a better future for my generation, for my next generation, for grandchildren, great grandchildren, and I admire my family as well as the people that are around me. And that. I don't have a person that I look up to and go, I want to be this person. I just want to be me. So
Texting or calling?
Texting. Got no time for the small talk, right? Like people pick up the phone. It's like, hey, how are you? And what are you doing? And how's your week been? It's like, I just want to know 1, 2, 3. So that's my favourite thing is to text. Yeah.
If there was a movie made about your life, who would you request to play you?
Well, someone attractive and very good looking, but besides that, I don't know. I don't watch movies. I wouldn't know actors. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that one. I don't know. Yeah.
Red pill or blue pill?
Red pill. Of course. The only way to be.
We know you don't fly, but if you did, where in the world would you most like to visit?
Antarctica.
Ooh, why?
Just because I think that there is a lot of things that are hidden in Antarctica. A lot of knowledge. I actually really like researching the parameters of the world that we live in and have a lot of questions about our origins. And some people might say religion's the answer to that, but I just like questioning and seeing, things that may not be added up or things that are hidden from us. And I think Antarctica is a place that has a lot of hidden secrets for our humanity. So.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Name a recent thing you've done for the very first time.
It's always things that I'm doing for the first time. One of the things, a lot of people say to me, look, Nathan, you've bought a lot of property and this comes second nature to you, and you've got the confidence in what you're doing. And going back 2 years ago, I went out and bought a motel, and I started a motel group called the Birch Hotel Group. And that was the first time I'd ever ventured into an industry that I didn't really know anything about. I entered into the tourism business, and from getting to that, we've got like 30 motels, and that's something that's very much out of my comfort zone. I'm very vulnerable at this point with that, and it was a refreshing feeling being able to push myself out of that comfort zone and trying something new. So, yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
What's the best gift that you've ever received?
Life from my mother.
If you could resurrect one person from history to have a chat with, who would it be and why?
My dad. Just because, I can bring him back and have a chat with him. Last thing I said to him was out of anger, fuck you. And I was a teenage kid, I was 16 years old, wanting to drive the car, chucking a tantrum. And I just said to him, fuck off, or something like that. And that's why every time when I speak to my mum, I hang up the phone and I'm like, I love you, mum. Because you never know what's going to happen in life. So, yeah, good about that. So.
What's the favourite item in your wardrobe?
Favourite item in my wardrobe? It's pretty basic. I have t-shirts, I have jeans, I have thongs, that's all I have. So I don't have anything too exciting in there. Do have a few cool pieces of jackets and stuff like that, but nothing. There's no skeletons in my closet, so that's one thing I know I don't have.
There's been a lot of interest in your rat's tail. Do you plan on growing it long or giving it the snip?
There has been a lot of interest in my rat's tail. I grew it just out of a bit of just something to do. I wanted to grow a rat's tail for so long, and society was like, well, I worked at a job, you're never allowed to have a rat's tail. I used to be on TV and stuff like that, and you can't have a rat's tail. And I just, the corona came, and then I grew a mullet, and then I thought, well, I've got the opportunity to grow a rat's tail. I don't care about the world too much, right? People's opinions and fabric of society, being a good person, who cares what someone's opinion is? So I grew a rat's tail, and it's fun.
Give us a quick flash.
Grow along, it's getting there. Nothing too exciting, but something a bit different. I'd be the only bloke in the Hills district that would have a rat's tail, I think. So, yeah.
What makes you happy?
Just life, like we get, if we're lucky, we get 80 years of healthy life in our life, and there's lots of cool experiences. I don't like bullshit. I don't like fakeness. I don't like people that have got bad energy. So I think good energy is good. I just think exploring life, and at the end of the day, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we should enjoy having that human experience because we're here for a blip in time, and just enjoy it and fulfill it with good things. If you don't like something, change it, take out the bad stuff. So.
What's humanity's worst quality?
What's humanity's worst quality? I think what I've seen in the last 2 years is, and a lot of people have woken up to this, is that we get lied to from the minute we're born. We get put into a system, which is the Matrix, and we're being lied to and told, this is how you should live your life, this is how it is, this is how it was before. But all the people that are telling you this stuff are just repeating and regurgitating what's being told to them from oppressing and controlling powers. So I think the worst part about it is that everybody's controlled and we're not being our freest self, and we should have our freedom of our mind. As I said beforehand, one of the most blessed things that I have is my mind. I can control it. No one can ever take your mind away from you, your thoughts. And I think that people should have freedom of their thoughts, and a lot of people don't have freedom upon their thoughts, and they're oppressed. And I think that's bad.
If you came face to face with your 18-year-old self today, what would you say to him?
I'd belt the shit out of him. The reason being is, I guess back 18 years, old version of me, I'm 37, so it's 19 years ago, it's half my life ago. The belief system that I had, the thought system that I had, imagine how far greater that my life could be as if I could instill all the knowledge that I could have today into the younger version of myself, and where I could be mentally, physically, spiritually compared to that older version of myself. But I'm happy with where I'm at life, so I probably would want to avoid the 18-year-old version of myself and let life take its course, just like on Marty McFly in Back to the Future, because yeah.
Do you have a favourite age or a best time in your life?
I think now is good. There's good and bad with any point in your life, and I think that when you look at people, you could have an 18-year-old version of myself with no knowledge, but I've got youth on my side, where now I don't have as much youth. I'm still youthful, but I don't have as much youth, but I have knowledge, and that knowledge is powerful, and the things that you can do with it, the controlling of your mind, I think the freedom that comes with that is very, very important. And I'm constantly happy. I do think, like, there's always been adversity, and like everyone's life has adversity, and it's how you deal with that adversity is very important. I'm very happy with the things, good, bad, or indifferent, that have happened in my life, but I wouldn't change it. But I think I'm happy with now, and I was happy at my worst points. It's just, how do you deal with that situation? I think a lot of people think about, I'll be happy in the future, or I want to go back to the good old days. And it's like, what made those things the good old days, right? Like, was it a time? Was it what you were doing? Is it what your mindset was? And if there's something you need to change to either be better in the future or go back to the past, you need to recalibrate yourself and take control of that mind and be happy. So, I don't think I've got a happy time more so one than another. No.
Burgers or pizza?
It's a hard one. I'd say burgers, but pizza's good too. Yeah, I'd say 50-50. Yeah.
Favourite flavour pizza?
Supreme.
What sparked your interest in investing?
Sparked my interest in investing. I saw that I was like a dumb kid by the system, right? The system told me I was stupid and that I would never amount to anything. And an average wage back in the early 2000s or late 1990s was say 40 or 50 grand a year. That was very good. And I thought to myself, shit, everyone's working 40, 50 years of their life and they just get by. And I thought to myself, that isn't something I want to do. And especially when my dad died, I was 16, he was 62. And I thought to myself, shit, like 40 years of my life, 50 years of my life, my dad should have been in a caravan, traveling with my mum or whatever. I thought, I don't want to have to be in that position. I want to enjoy my life now. And I thought, 40 years, 50 years in a job, I was motivated by the hate and the despise of having to sell my time and energy and effort I just wanted a better outcome. And I saw rich people had property and I wanted to be rich, so I wanted to have what they wanted, what they had. So I just realised that property some way was the vehicle. I just had a very simple back of the school diary sort of strategy that I started designing throughout school. It was actually between the age of 13 and 16 that I built that strategy. And when I turned 18, I bought my first property, and I thought if I could work 10 years, and it wasn't 10 years, I gave myself until 30, and I was happy to sacrifice my life with 2 jobs at any point in time to work and invest that cash. And I just thought if I could just build a cash flow stream of 50 grand a year, I could remove myself from my job and never have to work again. And that was, very emancipating for me.
What surprised you the most on your investing journey?
Nothing exists, and I'll expand upon that, right? There's probably 2 parts. There's lots of things. I could go on for another hour with this one, right? But what inspired me the most was I started investing because I had a very simple strategy of not having to work. But then along that journey, I learned, I grew. There was lots of gatekeepers along the way, and I had to overcome those gatekeepers. And with overcoming those gatekeepers, it becomes like a game. Whatever your favourite computer game is, you just got to go up to the next level. And I would realise that at the end, that there's certain things, right? We look at property now, that's why I share so much about inflation and the fraudulent system we live in, because I realise that property is one part of the game, but the other part of it is a finance game and a very dirty system that we have. And the money never existed, it was all printed into creation. Our belief is our belief in the money that is out there. Anything apart from money is an asset, and the money can be watered down as much as they want to print it. And I realised that property is probably the best vehicle because you can leverage it. The debt becomes irrelevant with inflation. The inflation hits not just the value of the asset, but also the cash flow of the asset, but the debt remains in the time that you captured that debt into the situation. So, when I realised that money was never real. It was all printed into the system, and the only real thing was the things that you were trading for that money. And most people spend 20, 30, 40, 50 years of their life trading their time for money, which is a very bad thing. And I wanted to get out of that game as quick as possible, which was X in the Matrix.
What makes you laugh?
I think I'm so stressed in life, right? I think I'm so stressed, and this is something people wouldn't know about me, is that I'm like a big fucking baby, right? I say funny things, right? I say funny shit all the time, but I'm a big baby, right? Like, I like to just chill, relax, and I can be very immature with some of the things I say, just out of fun. I just like to be like, I was the kid that had no friends at school. So I couldn't make friends. The only way I could make friends was being a dumbass at school and just doing stupid stuff, right? It would always get into trouble because I'd just say stuff that was funny. And I think as an adult, the same things happen, but I don't have anything to control me anymore. I don't have parameters to worry about, if you say this or do this or whatever. So I just have fun, making fun of all different stuff. It can be fun at myself. It could be fun at my friends. It could be fun at my family. It could be fun at situations. Whenever I'm dealt with stress, most people go freak out. They get in flight or fight mode, and they get really scared and upset, and their cortisone goes through their body and screws them up. For me, I just laugh and I'm like, fuck, I can't control it, right? It is what it is. I just, I've got a good sense of humour. I'm happy with it. So no matter what, I'll still laugh. So yeah.
What's the most rewarding thing about being your own boss?
What's the most rewarding thing about being your own boss? I wouldn't say it's rewarding. I got the choice of my own destiny by the choices that I make. But with those choices that you make, I'll actually flip the question around a bit, is that there's a great responsibility of being a boss. A lot of people will go out there and say, I'm going to quit my job because I want to work for myself. And most people would be better off being in a controlled environment and having someone give them guidance and direction, because as a boss, you don't just become the ruler of things, right? Everyone else is my boss, right? So over the years, I've had staff become my boss, my investors become my boss, every government regulatory body is my boss. When I was renting an office, the landlord was my boss. When I've owned properties, the bank is my boss. I'm just playing a part in the system, and most people think being the boss is like just chucking orders around and being some cool lifestyle on a boat. It's very important, I believe, as a leader or running businesses, to be in the trenches with your team, with your people, to motivate and inspire to be able to move forward. So being a boss does come with cool benefits, but there's lots of responsibility, and a lot of people, I think, want to be a boss, but they don't want to take the responsibility. And I think that's why a lot of businesses fail in life, just due to the fact that people aren't really set up for that. And I've had to grow and learn the skill set to become that person. So, yeah.
What's the last thing you Googled?
I need to go check that up, right? So let's check this up. Google. There's three. There's lots of right. CommBank property value, because I wanted to see what the little CommBank app does for a property for someone. It was just a valuation app. The second thing was Birch Resort, one of my resorts. The third last thing was a DeLorean for sale, because I wanted to buy a DeLorean to go back to the future, right? I can't make this shit up. It's right here on my phone.
Describe your team in 3 words.
Describe my team in 3 words. I've got a committed team. I've got a lot of good character. Character is a very important word. People that are committed, that have good character. Like, I don't look at my business like a business. I take it as a privilege that they want to be a part of the journey and be a part of my vision and my goals. So I feel, a great level of gratitude and being obliged to make sure that everyone around me gets to their goals. So as a business owner, over the years, there's lots of things that I had to learn. It didn't start off with all the knowledge. I had to learn the knowledge, and a lot of it was the hard way as well. And the people I had at the start are very different to the culture and the team that I've got today. So the culture is very important. The commitment, the passion, and the character of the people are very, very important, because with that, you could have an army that's fought with 1,000 troops that are paid and dictated to, and you can have 300 people that could win the army and win the war because they're loyal and they're committed to the journey and the focus. And that's where I feel like we've really won, is having the great people that have the vision reciprocate with their vision. So.
Do you have a most memorable moment in your life's work so far?
There would be lots of them. And that's the unfortunate thing with today, because there's been lots of cool successes, and each level of success has been exciting, but a lot of people, I think, get stuck at let's go and party and celebrate a success that we've had or a win, and they start becoming complacent and they think it's about enjoying that success. I think the sad thing for myself is that I hit a level of success, I'll acknowledge it, I'll be like, shit, that was cool what we just did, and then 10 minutes later it's like, okay, cool, we've got to go back to work. And I think that's the committedness of it and being focused to move forward. So there hasn't been one defining moment. I think my most defining moments have been my worst moments. So I've had lots of adversity over the years. For a minute, don't think, oh, Birchie's just gotten here, it's been lucky. There's been times where most people would have been defeated, or they would have been like, shit, I'm going to put the shoes up and pack up the boots. And it's at those points that I think the greatest have. Just before recording this, I went over and hugged one of my team, and he's been here for 10 years, and something shit happened 3 or 4 years ago, and something really cool happened out of that today, and I just went and gave him a high five and a hug, and I said, man, all the shit we went through all those years ago, look where we're at today, and for us to look back, it's important to have a checkpoint that you can reflect on, and then go back and go, cool, we've made progress, let's keep making progress.
Name one thing on your bucket list.
One thing on my bucket list. I have goals constantly that I want to do. One of my next goals is to travel around the country. So I just feel like doing it. That's why I just got my big truck. My big truck arrived, the big Chevy, and I've got a big caravan coming, and I'm going to go traveling around the country whenever I feel like it. I'll be bringing you guys videos about locations that I've turned up to, things that I'm learning about. I think a lot of people are born as a child and they're very curious about the world, and then the system beats them into being a person that just accepts what they're given. And I like to continuously be curious and researching new things. So over the next 12 months, I want to be researching the country we live in, and I want to be exploring the place that we're in. A lot of people make their way to this country to migrate here, and there's so much cool shit, whether it be a little waterfall or a location spot, and I want to go and explore that. So if I like something, I want to do it, I go do it. I'll fit it into my plans of how can I incorporate that into being the best sort of experience. So that's me.
What's your best advice to a young person starting out?
Best advice to a young person starting out. Get clear on what you want. Once you've got clarity on what you want out of life and the person that you want to be, make sure that if you have clarity on who you want to be, the world stands aside for that person. So if you know where you want to be, you can then instantly decide, is this going to help me get closer or further away from that goal, right? You could be out, partying this weekend and going, let's go get drunk and do whatever you want out there. But those decisions you make have consequences. You could be, every decision that you have has an action. So if you have clarity, then you can make sure that you can have a spot to come back to and go, is this in line with the person that I want to be, the worst person I want to become? So that's probably the first thing, is having clarity. Second thing would be, don't listen to all the shit out there, right? Everyone's fucking unhappy and stuff in the world. And if you feel and you've got clarity on where it is that you want to go, and you have worked out all the best case scenarios and all the worst case scenarios in order to get there, well, then take that step forward. Ignore the masses that are around you, and just take the action to be happy and live your best life. If you want to go and be a fucking acrobat, go and be an acrobat. You want to go and travel and save koalas, go save koalas. Just be the best version of yourself. Fuck what other people think, because the system is there to design to keep you trapped in what other people want you to do, or what their perception of what you should be. So just take action as well. Make sure you take action, especially when you're younger. You've got the ability to fuck around and hurt yourself and get a few bruises and stuff too.
Do you rewatch your own videos?
Do I read? No, I actually hate it. I hate listening to myself. I hate looking at myself. I read something recently that said, if you've never seen yourself, right? People think this is pretty deep, right? You've never seen yourself ever beforehand. You've only seen a reflection of yourself, right? So if you walked past yourself, your only perception is a remembrance of the reflection that you've seen, because you've never seen yourself beforehand. So if you walk past yourself in the street, you wouldn't even know who you are, right? You could walk past yourself and say that to you, and you go, that's not me, because your perception of yourself is based on only reflections of yourself. So when I look at myself, I just don't like the person I see. So I'm like, fuck it, I just don't like looking at it. I don't like my voice. I don't like looking back. I want to go slap him, whatever, right? I don't look back.
Has your approach to investing changed over the years?
Has my approach changed? Fundamentally, very the same. My thought process, my belief system has changed and evolved over the years. When I first started investing, I remember probably my biggest mistake in investing was an opinion, right? And my opinions that hurt me was, I remember looking at villas and townhouses in Brisbane, and this was in 2004, sorry, it was the start of 2004. I was 18, turning 19 years old, and my girlfriend at the time, we were Movie World and Dream World and shit like that, and there was no internet, right? There was no realestate.com, there was no forums, there was no one talking about stuff, and I heard about this place, and I went there, and I could find townhouses and units and villas for like 50 grand, and I rented for like $150 a week, and I was like, they won't go up in value, townhouses and units aren't good, if something breaks, I can't do a renovation on the property, etc. And I didn't buy, and then I looked at the Sydney market, that went backwards, and the Queensland market took off. And I thought to myself, shit, I really messed up, right? My thought process was not right. And I realised that my opinions let me down, right? And my mindset and my investing, I still look for the same things, right? It has to be below market value, it has to have upside for growth, it has to have a strong cash flow. I've added in there a couple extra things. It has to be below replacement cost, because I want to know the infrastructure and inflation is going to help me out. So it's changed slightly, but very systematic. I'm very unemotionally attached to my investing decisions, and I treat my investing like a business. I think that has remained solid throughout every investment decision that I've made, and I think that's been very rewarding.
Night in or a night out?
Look, nowadays a night in, right? But I feel like something changed with me, like maybe about specifically 2 years ago with what happened with the world, but maybe like 5 years ago, I used to be very extroverted. I considered myself beforehand extroverted, but nowadays I think I'm introverted. So if that makes any sense, right? Just how I see the world is very different to how I used to. So a night in would be better for me than a night out. And being around people that I care about and love and all that sort of stuff.
What's the best business advice that you've ever received?
Best business advice that I've ever received. I actually just come up with my own thoughts on things and take action against it. I've never had a coach or a mentor, but I do respect everybody's feedback, so I wouldn't be able to pick one piece, because I do get lots of good feedback from lots of good people over the years. I think I'm guided by questioning and seeing people's reactions. So I have a lot of conservative friends, because I'm more of the shit, I'm going to make heaps of cool stuff happen, and I've got a lot of conservative people that are around me that are like, no Nathan, don't do that, and I'll listen to them, I'll see their reasoning, I'll minimise that risk, and then I'll take decisions based upon that. So I wouldn't say there'd be one best piece, but I do know that I've got lots and lots of very good people around me that have a lot more knowledge and skill sets in relevant fields that I've been able to take advice from over the years.
You have a lot of balls in the air. How do you juggle all your commitments?
That's something that I've had to learn, right? As I said beforehand, that I'm not the person, I'm not the person that I was born. I had to build myself into this. It's been over years of trial and error and learning and all that sort of stuff. To start off with, I was very, everything's black and white, everything's systemized and all that. As I've grown and expanded, I've had to come to terms that if I want something to be 100%, if I want to leverage and scale, I can be 100% of 100%, but I could leverage. It's not just leveraging money, and I think this is where a lot of people mess up, is that they think you have to leverage money, but you can leverage skill set, right? I don't go and create my own website. I have people to go and do that. I don't go and edit this video. I have people that go and do that. So if everyone wants to be, what I find a lot of people do is they want to have everything 100%, but nothing's ever right. There's never green lights to the city for everybody at the right time. So taking action is important, but having the right people, I'd rather have 10 people that are 70% as good as what I could do in my skill set, because I could leverage that to scale and have 700% instead of 100%. So, yeah.
You have a pretty large personal portfolio. Who and what assists you in managing that?
A large portfolio, I think processes and systems and procedures. So going back to the last part about having so many balls in the air, everything needs to be systemized. I've always treated my investing like a business, and I've wanted to make sure that, the only way you can do it is systemizing. You look at Macca's, and I'm not a fan of McDonald's, but one thing that we can say that their burgers taste like shit, and they might employ kids at very low wages, and there could be shady past or whatever the case may be, but you can't deny the fact that Macca's have a very successful business based on the systems, processes, and procedures. And I think as an investor, what I've been able to do is understand how businesses work and apply business decisions and processes and procedures in place to be able to get there. And I know that some things aren't right, and that's cool, right? Sometimes a ball gets dropped, whatever, but doing things on scale and having processes, you want to minimize those risks along the way. So I've got good processes, good systems, good procedures, good teams of people around that can help manage and assist on that. I see people that go out and they might want to just go buy a property themselves, right? Well, you can buy a property, but you don't know what you're buying. You don't understand what finance is about, what you're going to do your own legals. No one goes to do their own legals, right? No one goes to be their own lawyer. They think they need a lawyer, which you could do it yourself. But most people think they could do their own lending. Most people think they could do their own buying. So many people think that they could go and manage their own properties, right? When it's a very special, sophisticated job of managing tenants, because you're not just saying, hey, give me the money. You're managing the expectations and setting the standard to make sure that your asset is protected and your best interests are in place. So all those processes, systems, and procedures are in place, and having very good people around me has been able to help me, manage that, grow it, and scale it. I could sit here and say how great I am and do it on my own, but I do have great people as well that help me along the way, and that's been a big key to my journey.
If you could time travel, would you go into the past or the future, and why?
That's a good question. I often think there's a few things that I could go back to the past on, slap a few people in the face, and move back to the future. But those lessons that those people have taught me in the past have made me who I am today. If I was upset with the person that I am today, well, then I'd want to go change something in the past, or I'd want to go change something in the future. I'm happy with where I'm at the moment. I get excited by thinking what the future looks like, and the excitement of not knowing is pretty cool as well, because you can create whatever future you want to have. I'd be happy right now.
If you weren't working for yourself, what would you be doing?
Well, if I wasn't working for myself, I'd be either unemployed or working for someone else. And I've done my time working for people. I worked my ass off in my youth. I committed myself to work 2 full-time jobs. 1 year I had 7 days off. And most days I was working 4 days of double jobs throughout that, like 15, 20-hour days. So I did that. If I wasn't working for myself, at this point in life, I'd just be relaxing and doing whatever I want every day, but I'd be bored, and that's sort of what gets me up in the morning. Like starting off with the questions today, what gets me up in the morning? I actually have to find things to keep myself in line, right? Otherwise I'd be just living a very, either traveling and doing things like very, hastily, or, living a boring life. So I like filling my life up with, achievements and goals to be able to go and achieve. So yeah, if I wasn't working for myself, I'd either be retired, which I started this journey retired. I literally started the B.Invested group of companies years ago. It was 2009 that I started the business. There was no such thing as, no one was on YouTube. There was no social media, like Facebook probably just started. There was no such thing as that, maybe MySpace. There was no, forums, no education, and I started, recording videos because I had a desire to help people, but I also had the media got behind me, right? And they were like, this guy that's from the media, and a bit of ego arrived from that, and I started some businesses. And when I started the business, I realised that there was a much bigger responsibility that I had to uphold at that point. So I started the businesses, and I realised that I've got lots of people that work for me, and they're here trading their time and energy to help my vision and dream. I need to make the commitment to make sure that they're getting to where they want to be. And that sort of gave a purpose to be able to push forward. So I couldn't actually picture my life not doing what I do, but if I wasn't running B.Invested, I'd either be retired, which is what I started off as. And besides that, I don't think I could ever hold a job ever again in my life. So I'm probably officially unemployable. So
What's the meaning of life?
what's the meaning of life? I don't have the answer for that one, actually. A lot of people that might be religious might sit here and say, well, go pick up a book and read that. I've read lots of those books, and I like a lot of spiritual, viewpoints in them. And I feel like a lot of overlaying messages that are in there. I feel like I want to go and find in my life what the meaning for life is, and that's sort of one of the things that gets me up in the morning to go, okay, cool, what's the purpose of this here? That's why I like researching, understanding. Humans don't have all the answers, right? No one has the answer of why we're here, how we got here. I would love to find before the time I die sort of some knowledge about that, and that's why one of the questions was about where would I travel to. I think there's clues scattered throughout the land that we are here on, whether that be Antarctica, whether that be somewhere else, that give clues as to where, how, and our origins. So as humans, I think we've lost a bit of our way of where we came from and what we're meant to do here, all that sort of stuff. So I just like the journey of travelling through and experiencing life. And
Do you have a favourite or most memorable investment?
a favourite one, yes. I don't know why, but I bought this shop. It was $465,000. It's in the central coast of New South Wales. I bought it about 9 years ago. I bought it for 465 grand. It's worth about $3 million now. I rented it out to an ASX 200 listed company for 20 years at 110, 120 grand a year, and it just keeps going up every year. I've never heard from them. They drop the money through on the 1st of September. I get money every year, and that's it. I like that property just because it's a very passive sort of investment. It scares me because I think about it and I'm like, by the time the tenant moves out, I'll be 50. And I was only in my late 20s when I bought the property. So that's a lifestyle. That one property could have retired me, but that property, it took 20 residential properties in order for me to be able to have the equity, the capital, the cash flow, and the net worth position to be able to have the confidence and ability to pull off a deal of that scale. And when I say this, this property was 465 grand plus GST, so let's call it 500 grand roughly. And it had been vacant for probably 15 years beforehand. It was an old Video Easy store, and it had been vacant for so long. And interest rates were 8, 9, 10%. So if most people would have bought that property, they would have been losing or bleeding $800 a week out of their pocket just by holding that property for that period of time. So I guess every property has sort of placed me in a better position to be able to take on bigger things out in the world. And some of the deals I do today are $5 million, $8 million, $10 million properties. I don't talk about them like I used to. I used to go, oh, I've got 200 properties and that's cool. We don't realise, and if you do the numbers, each one of those motels might have 5 blocks of land or 6 blocks of land, or 5 different blocks of units that are attached to each property or whatever. Those things don't come from nowhere, and they've come from the foundations that got laid. So there's not one specific favourite property, but I like that one. That's the that shop. But all the properties have played a role in getting to where I am today, and they all will in the future where I want to go. So.
If money was no object, what is the first thing you'd buy?
Money was no object. It is no object. It never existed. So I have all the cool things, right? I have all the cool things. I was talking to one of my mates the other day, And I told him I bought this car, and it was like a real stupid car. It's a Suzuki Jimny, right? It's like so tiny. Like I'm 6'4", hands like a plate, all that. And I bought it just for a laugh because I'm like, this is cool, right? It's my big truck. Like I can't park it in places, so I thought I've got the massive truck, but this little tiny car. It's like, it's funny. And he goes, mate, that is the biggest definition of success that I've ever heard of, financial success. He goes, you just woke up one day and you spent 40 grand or 35 grand on a car just because you felt like it. And I was like, yeah, I just, bought it and I saved up and I bought it in a week. And he's like, mate, you just bought 2 cars in a week. And I'm like, I felt like it, right? And in the process, I bought myself a mansion, right? So I guess once you've got the foundations laid and money doesn't become an option, all I look at investing as is an option, is more options that I've got in my life. I would never want to sell my time for money. I do sell my time and energy, but that's just out of love and wanting to create something like my businesses and whatnot. But I don't want to sell my time and energy for money. So I wanted to have assets that do that. Those assets provide cash flow. That cash flow I live my life on, and that's, things come in. I just buy what I want. If I want something, I want a holiday house. I bought a holiday house and enjoy my life. It's cool. I want a caravan. I want to travel. So buy a caravan. Everything has an option. And a lot of people, I don't mean it like as in like, cool, just go buy caravans and shit. But I'm able to do that from my passive income. And that's what's important. Like a lot of people want to go and have all these things. I used to staple my socks together, live for $1 a day. Like back in the old days when I worked in a job, I've got mates. So you can go find my mates from years ago that I used to work with. And we would chip in $1 a day each. We'd spend like $5 to have $1 each, $5. We'd go to Woolworths, buy all the shit that's about to go rotten, have like a Frankfurt sandwich and some baked beans on the side and a little cup of soft drink. And I'd find ways to save money. And I used to have to live and eat shit basically to survive because I wanted to invest it into assets so I never had to work. And then from that assets, I could then build cash flow so I can live life however I want. And I think that's what I do.
What's next for you, Nathan?
What's next for me? I constantly have debates about what I want to do in the future, and like some things just come from like, wow, what's that? But I've got lots of business interests that I don't talk about on social media and stuff. I've got a goal to buy over 100 businesses of a specific type of business. No one even knows that I own them. I want to get my motels up to over 100 motels. They're just things I want to buy. And just enjoy my life, keep enjoying my life. I enjoy my life every day. If I want to go and spend time with the family, I go spend time with my family. I want to go take the weekend off, I go take the weekend off. If I want to take the whole week off, I'll take the whole week off. The other week, I was doing a Facebook Live, left the office and went, fuck it, I'm going to drive to Melbourne. Drove to Melbourne, caught up with one of my staff on the way down there, picked up a car, looked at a motel I bought, just enjoy life. Sometimes I'll go for a drive to the beach and sit at the beach for 2 weeks. So, yeah.
Thanks so much for your time today, Nathan. You've been a great sport.
Thank you very much. Lots of very confronting questions that have been asked, very quick thinking, and thanks for everyone watching, and hopefully you gain something from that. Have a great day.